Hi everyone, I'm going to be presenting Clinica, a software platform for clinical neuroimaging studies, overview and advances. The goal of Clinica is to apply advanced processing pipelines and data science pipelines to clinical studies. We are dealing with clinical neuroscience studies involving in vivo data from human participants with multimodal data, such as neuroimaging, clinical scores, genetics, and other omics. Often, the data has longitudinal follow-up. The motivation behind Clinica was to stop the waste of resources. The objectives are then to spend less time on data management and processing, easily share data and results within institutions and with external collaborators, make research more reproducible. Clinica also serves as a showcase for the methods developed in the team. The main input of Clinica is imaging data, such as anatomical MRI, diffusion MRI, and PET scans. These go through different pre-processing and future extraction pipelines that use third-party tools such as FreeSurfer, FSL, and SPM, and whose output can be used for statistical analysis or machine learning models. We use the bit standard as an underlying file structure. In order to ease the use of bits, we also provide bits converters to convert the main public data sets into bit standard. So let's dig a bit deeper into Clinica. Clinica is developed in Python and uses bits, but it also uses NiPipe under the hood, which is a software developed in Python as well for providing uniform interface for existing neuroimaging software. The installation of Clinica is easy and can use Conda for a virtual environment and PyP using pip for an easy installation. Depending on the pipeline you're going to use, some third-party tools would need to be installed as well. We have 4 main entry points for Clinica. The first one, Clinica Convert, takes raw public data sets and converts them into a bit standard. Then we have Clinica IO tools for bits and bits derivatives / caps management. The main pipelines for processing images are invoked through Clinica Run. And finally, we have Clinica Generate to help developers generate new pipelines. For the converter, let's take as an example ADNI. If we start with the data structure on the left, by simply invoking the Clinica Convert ADNI to bits, we can end up with a data structure that is bits compliant and that we can see on the right-hand side. Our bits converters are now compatible with the latest version of bits and span different public datasets, such as ADNI, ABLE, OASIS, and more recently, we also added HABS, OASIS3, and UK Biobank. We have 3 data manipulation tools that can be invoked through Clinica IO tools as well. Create subjects visits, which takes a bits data structure and outputs as a TSV the list of participants and the sessions. We have merge TSV, which outputs in form of a TSV the outputs of our different pipelines. And we have check missing modalities, which list the modalities for each participant that are available in our bits datasets. The main image processing pipelines are invoked using Clinica Run, and then the name of the pipeline you want to use. We have T1 pipelines for anatomical processing that can do affine registration, tissue segmentation, and many other things. We also have FLAIR linear for a FLAIR manipulation and affine registration. We have DWI processing pipelines for pre-processing such as API distortion correction, extraction of DTI-based measures, and many other things. We also have PET processing pipelines for tissue segmentation, co-registration, for example, and other things. Finally, we have the statistics and machine learning pipelines that can deal with the outputs of the previous pipelines. Clinica also has a sister project called Clinica DL that uses the pre-processed outputs of Clinica and helps create reproducible deep learning models. You can visit the poster of Clinica DL within OHBM. Clinica is constantly evolving and has recently seen technical improvements with more continuous integration that cover larger non-regression and unit tests, with the modernization of our command line interface, the use of Poetry for package management for easily reproducible environments. We are also working on many projects, including the upgrade of the engine to Hydra, which would add features such as distributable execution and easier caching, bits derivative compliance, but by making sure the outputs of our pipelines are kept up to date with evolving bit standard, provenance support for execution traceability, and finally, we have some long-term projects that are under development, such as Clinica Cloud for the development of a web interface and additional longitudinal pipelines. Thank you for your attention.